I want to talk about a subtle but very expensive mistake a lot of contractors make. And it's simply giving people upgrades that they don't want to pay for because you care more about the quality, performance, and even the cosmetics of the job than the customer does. I've been in the roofing industry for a long time, over 20 years. And this is one area where I have lost so much money by trying to be nice and be a good contractor. I'm going to talk about two things that are easy to comprehend. Ridge cap, right? So you got your high definition ridge cap or your more cost effective, just standard flat ridge cap. Then you got something like valley metal compared to like a closed cut valley or a California valley, whatever. Valley metal's not cheap. You guys all probably know that. High definition ridge cap is not cheap. I'm sure all of you know that. For a long time, I would try to sell a job and talk to a customer, and a lot of them obviously don't want to spend a lot of money, right? Understandably so. But you get to this point where you look at a house, and then me as the roofer, I have this vision in my mind of like, wow, this would look so nice with high definition ridge and or valley metal, have this nice industrial look or just a better look, you know. The customer doesn't want to pay for that. And so many times, I'm embarrassed to say, looking back now, so many times I've decided to just eat it and say, well, I'm going to do it anyway because I think it's going to look nicer. And I care about my work and I want my work to look nice. There's truth to that. But if I were to sit down, with a pen and paper and go back 5, 10, 20 years on all the times that I've included that, all the times that I've thrown valley metal in because I wanted it to be better, all the times that I threw high definition ridge in when the customer didn't want to pay for it because it's going to look nicer, I'd probably get sick at how much money I've given away. Now, when I say that, it's going to turn a lot of people off, right? Because you think you should be a good contractor, you should be nice, you should go the extra mile. I agree with all of that. But there's a fine line between doing great work, going the extra mile, caring about the quality and your name. There's a fine line between that and giving people something that they've willingly decided they don't want to pay for. And as a contractor, and I can only speak for the roofing industry, but I'm sure you can take this and run with it if you're in a different industry. You can't do that. Like, you cannot give people upgrades that they don't pay for, period. You just can't. It's one of the most common mistakes, and a lot of people will guilt you into this too. I would never do a job without high definition ridge. Okay, don't. Cool. If you can find the customers that want to pay for that every time, great. I'm with you that it looks better. I'm with you that it's stronger. I get it. I'm with you. But at the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with realizing, oh, this is a business that needs to stay afloat. Oh, it's probably not a good idea to give somebody a Cadillac roof for the price of a Toyota Camry roof. That's not a winning plan. That doesn't end well in the long run. And this is something that I've done more times than I can, literally more times than I can count. I don't just say that as a catchy line. I've done that more times than I can count because of my own ego, because I do care about my work. I want it to look pretty and get pictures. And I want the neighbors to say, wow, that looks good. And I still believe that in my heart of hearts. That matters a lot to me, the cosmetics and the quality. But looking back, that is one of the, off the top of my head, that is one of the most subtle but expensive mistakes I've made, was giving too much. And again, I know it's going to rub people the wrong way. You should. Let me be clear. I'm still saying you should go the extra mile to a reasonable degree. The customer has to win. Make sure the customer's happy. You've got to be transparent. You've got to do a great job. But you can't give people upgrades that they don't pay for. You can't do that. If you're dealing with a customer and you give them the option, and you say, this is most cost effective, I would recommend this and this, and they say, nah, don't want to do that, just go with as cheap as possible, or I don't think it's necessary. Don't make the foolish mistake that I've made countless times of saying, well, you know what? I want this roof to look great. You can't care more about your customer's house or fix or product of any kind. You can't care more about it than the customer does. I mean, you can on a surface level, but not at the brass tacks and the budget and the spending and the material. You can't do that. You can't care more about it in a way that's going to cost you money because you're going to lose. You're literally losing. You can't do that. One of the most silly mistakes I've made was caring more about the customer's roof than they do. Giving them a high definition ridge because I thought it looked nicer and I wanted to just do it. Throwing valley metal in because I thought it looked nicer, stronger valley. I should have never done that to these people. Still looks nice without it. And the amount of money that I've lost over the years with just that simple, those two simple things, it's crazy. I was thinking about that before I sat down to make this video. Any contractor that's watching this right now, regardless of whatever trade you're in, I bet there's little things like that that you can look back on and think, man, I lost a lot of money that I didn't have to spend that money. And I get it. I get the stigma that comes with all business, right? Cut every corner, shave every penny, maximize profits. I know saying that comes with some negativity, but there's got to be balance. I'm not saying just be the dirtiest dog in town and just maximize profits in a way that hurts quality. I'm not saying that. Like, quality has to be there. It does. Quality has to be there, but it's always a juggling act. It's always a balancing act. You're constantly balancing that. And you need to keep yourself in mind too. You got to understand that your job is to have your business succeed. There's nothing wrong with wanting to make money. And I struggled with that for a long time. I always wanted to go the extra mile, and I did. And in a lot of ways, I'm proud of that because I got a lot of happy customers that can say endless good things about me. But these people made out like bandits off of my hard work. And a lot of that's my own ignorance. A lot of that is just me, like I said, caring more about the quality and the cosmetics of the work I was doing. I cared more about it than the customer did. You're not going to win like that. I should have put that energy into trying to sell those things I wanted to do and sell the importance of it and plead with them and say, yeah, you know, it's a little more money, which it was never massive. Like, it's upgrading to high definition ridge cap or valley metal or like something. It was never some crazy amount of money. And that's why I went ahead and just ate it, because it wasn't a crazy amount of money at first. But you eat it. I'm pay a little bit more and I'm just going to do it. Yeah, well, do the math on a year down the road, 5 years down the road, 10, 20 years down the road of doing that all the time. Then it is a lot of money. It is a lot of money. So I want to end this video like this. A subtle but expensive mistake that a lot of contractors make is caring more about the quality and the cosmetics of the work you're doing or the product, caring more about that than the customer does. You can't give people free upgrades. You just can't. That's not being mean. That's not being greedy. No, it's not. It's just business. You can still be transparent and fair and explain it. You can still be fair with your pricing. But you're not entitled to give people free stuff. And you shouldn't fall in love with that project more than the customer does. If you do, you're setting yourself up for failure every time. Let me end it again with that line. Do not fall in love with that project more than the customer does. And if you do, you better be able to sell that. You better be able to sell that image. You better be able to sell that excitement, because at the end of the day, The business has to eat. That's the truth. At the end of the day, the business has to eat. And if you give free upgrades like I did many times, the business loses little by little, one micro back step at a time. And looking back now, when I sit down to make this video, it's actually pretty irritating. It's embarrassing to think of how many times I went the extra mile and threw that stuff in. And the jobs turned out great. The roofs looked beautiful. But the customer didn't care. The customer didn't care, so I should have kept that in mind and realized that at the end of the day, it's their house, it's their money, it's their project, and it's their decision. You can sell it to them, you can try to convince them and plead with them, but if they don't want to pay for it, they don't get it. Anyways, guys, just wanted to share that message and remind you, because a lot of you probably know this, but it doesn't hurt to be reminded. Anyways, let me know what you guys think down below. Like the video if you did like the video. That helps me out a lot. New channel I want to start uploading over here. Subscribe to the channel, obviously, if you haven't already. I would appreciate that a lot, too. Until next time, guys, God bless. Be well. I'm out.